This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, insights into our founding documents, sponsored by Santa Rosa Volunteers, here in Santa Rosa County, Florida. Santa Rosa Volunteers is available at their website, SRV1776.com. That's SRV1776.com. Federalist number 11 was written by Alexander Hamilton and published on November 24th, 1787. My overall impression, once you get past the same old arguments for a national government to rule over the states, you get the impression that Hamilton really isn't all that thrilled to have a new nation to create freedom for Americans, the likes of which no nation has ever seen, and more that he wants to reestablish connections with England and other European monarchies and colonial powers in order so as not to offend them, not to bring about their economic retaliation, and worst of all, to advance the business interests of Hamilton and his rich and powerful friends. I'm not sure he realizes that we won the War for Independence, and as such, we get to act as a nation with independence. As always, the Federalists are concerned that the government will break into factions, also known as parties, and the states will break into various separate confederacies, both of which would reduce the powers of the Federalists, who appear to want the Constitution so they can run a strong national government over the states and as representatives of the whole nation to the trading nations of Europe, to which they intend to make all the trade deals, which would be enforced with their growing national government navy. So much for federalism, the separation of powers between the states and the intended national government, and the independence of the states at all. It's all in a few paragraphs of Federalist number 11, surrounded by lots of blah, blah, blah. Hamilton, in a rare moment of clarity, says, "Under a vigorous national government, the natural strength and resources of the country, directed to a common interest, would baffle all the combinations of European jealousy to restrain our growth." The Constitution is supposed to be explicitly against a national government, which is certainly not empowered to direct any idea of common interest, which seems to be designed to say, give us a national government so we can use the power of a national government to get the best deals from our former masters in Europe. Hamilton's biggest fear, it appears, is that the Articles of Confederation will remain and the states remain independent sovereign entities which would be capable of making their own trade deals with other nations. And why not? American companies make their own trade deals with foreign governments all the time. So it's not trade and commerce that Hamilton is worried about, it's his lack of control over that state and independent trade, which is why he wants a strong national government over the states. He says, "But in a state of disunion, these combinations might exist and might operate with success. It would be in the power of the maritime nations, availing themselves of our universal impotence, to prescribe the conditions of our political existence, and as they have a common interest in being our carriers, and still more in preventing our becoming theirs, they would, in all probability, combine to embarrass our navigation in such a manner as would in effect destroy it and confine us to a passive commerce." In conclusion, Hamilton recognizes the amazing bounty available in the new nation. My problem is that he wants that wealth and power for himself and his political and wealth class, who appear to want the Constitution to enshrine their power over the country in the supreme law of the land. To enforce his national government and push it on to the world, he talks of maintaining a navy strong enough to keep us neutral in any conflict. I'm fine with a strong navy, but I'm with George Washington on avoiding foreign entanglements. So who is Hamilton really talking to in Federalist number 11? The people or his people? He says, But in the reverse of this eligible situation, we shall discover that the rivalships of the parts would make them checks upon each other, and would frustrate all the tempting advantages which nature has kindly placed within our reach. In a state so insignificant, our commerce would be prey to the wanton intermeddlings of all nations at war with each other, who, having nothing to fear from us, would with little scruple or remorse supply their wants by depredations on our property as often as it fell in their way. The rights of neutrality will only be respected when they are defended by an adequate power. A nation despicable by its weakness forfeits even the privilege of being neutral. Hamilton completely discounts that the states and the citizen militias could defend themselves against foreign invasion. However, the whole point of a strong navy was to ensure foreign invaders never got here, and not, as Hamilton appears to want, as adjuncts to their commercial operations and trade. He does make one excellent point, that a nation is despicable by its weakness and forfeits even the privilege of being neutral. Compare our strength and independence in the past to the dependencies of the recent present. So what exactly is the Constitution supposed to do, and who is it supposed to be for? At this point, I have no idea from the Federalists. The source for the Federalist Papers is federalistpapers.org. The Anti-Federalist Papers are from selfeducatedamerican.com. The Articles of Confederation are from usconstitution.net. This is Greg Penglis for Action Radio with Founding Moments, sponsored by Rosa Volunteers. Their website is SRV1776.com. That's SRV1776.com. Please share this report to anyone who needs it.